Hi, welcome to So Sewn Knits. My name is Andrew. I'm a knitter, sewist, and overall fiber artist coming to you from California State Capital. And welcome back. It's been a little time since I last recorded for you guys. Probably a little over a month at this point. But I've had some personal things going on and some technology things going on. This is my fourth time recording this. So it's going to be short and sweet to just get something out there because I literally just recorded for an hour and found that I wasn't recording for an hour, apparently. So I don't know. I don't have that much more time left to record in the day, especially with daylight, which is my only source of lighting for these. So I'm going to try and keep it short and simple, more so than I did last time. And hopefully next time I can record something that was going to be more of what I was going to show you guys. And hopefully like next week sometime. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Also, I'll mention that we are currently in my bedroom because that's where there is some light. It's been sort of like a cloudy day today. It's a little bit cooler. We finally have fall here in the Central Valley of California, so we're all really, really excited about that. We can put on our sweaters and have a good time. So, but that does mean the lighting has changed a little bit, so we're in a little bit different location, but I think this works for the time being. So I will jump into a couple of FFOs and then just an FO and a whip because that's all I really have time for, like I mentioned. So for my former finished object that I'm currently wearing, I am in my Ronan cardigan from Caitlin Hunter. Not a good name to mention right now. From Andrea Mowry. I'm not all the same. So this is Ronan by Andrea Mowry. This is a beautiful pattern that is in, I believe, a magazine in Wool People from Brooklyn Tweed. So if you haven't seen it before, then that's probably where you'll see it. It is knit completely out of Knit Picks yarn. Their Wool of the Andes worsted weight, and I believe the color is a heathered color. I don't remember the name, like rustic heather or something like that. So I really like it, this nice fall color, nice orangey heathered color. But it's definitely more of like a slumping around the house kind of cardigan. If you ever watch Amy Florence's podcast, and I believe she made a Ronan and was understandably upset when she figured out like, oh, this thing is not really that practical. And I had that same realization when I made this. I was like, wow, it's great, but it's just not very like wearable around town kind of a thing. Like I usually like to knit for stuff where I want to make sure I can wear it at the office or whatever. But this is not one of those. This is for just strictly lounging around in. But that's today for the most part, up until a little bit recently. So yeah, that's why I'm currently wearing my Ronan. It's beautiful. It's this nice long, very long cardigan. And the only mod that I did make that I'll mention is that the sleeves traditionally have like, it's brioche all the way down to like the elbow. So your whole forearm is like this brioche rib. But I did do that. I didn't really like the look of it. So I just ended up doing a brioche cuff right here that's like 2 inches long. And I thought that looked a little bit nicer personally for me. So otherwise, it's just sort of my go-to put on and hang out in, and it's almost its own blanket. That's how long it is. So that's also kind of why I like that too. Actually, I'm gonna keep that as my only FFO for this week. I have more, but we'll save those for later on. I do have a traditional finished object for you guys. It is these socks, which you may or may not be expecting. I know in my last episode I said that don't expect for these to be an FO anytime soon, but I finished them because I was traveling. I went to San Diego since I last podcasted to see my sister, and I had a lot of just downtime stockinette knitting. Especially, I think the first 2 days I was there, we just hung out on the beach, so that's what I was doing, was I was knitting the second sock to this. So these are my Madison socks, that's what I like to call them. I did get the main color yarn from Knit Circus, which is located in Madison, Wisconsin. And also to me, the color kind of reminds me of Madison or University of Wisconsin Madison's colors. They are red and white. My boyfriend will disagree with me, but that's fine. I guess he went to school there, he knows. But to me, they are my Madison socks. And they are pre-wound cakes. They are this beautiful, as you can see, like stripe gradient set. But they are pre-wound cakes into two separate balls, or two separate cakes, excuse me. So you can knit from one for each sock. And I used the entire thing that you can see here. So I'm really glad that I did end up using a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff, because I would not have had enough yarn if I didn't. And this is just some stash yarn I had. I believe it's 3 Irish Girls, like this very dark gray color that I thought looked really good. So I'm really happy with them. I mentioned in my last recording that I don't think I've worn socks since probably April or May. You really don't need to or want to here in the Sunshine Valley, so I'm really excited to have sock weather back and to start wearing some more of my hand knit socks again. So that'll be really exciting. So especially I'll have these now to wear. So yay, now I need more socks on the needles. Socks don't count as whips, right? They're just their own category. I don't have any socks on the needles though. But that is my FO for this week. I'm really excited about. I do have a lot of things on the needles. I will quickly mention that if you've looked at my other or watched my other podcasts, you've seen that I am knitting for a coworker who's a friend of mine, who's going to Scotland later this year. She's going in the end of November, so I do have some time, but her shawl that I'm making for her, I have on a timeout. It's also an Andrea Mowry pattern. It's called Briochelicious. If you want to see it, you can always go on my Instagram or Ravelry or check out my previous podcasts. But I don't have the energy to pull it out right now, to be honest, after filming like 4 times. And it's on its own timeout because I just can't deal with it. It's getting to the point where it's a crescent shaped shawl. So with those, you have a point where you have like 400 stitches all in one row, and it's such a slog to knit through all of those stitches all at once. So I've put it to the side and just said, no, sorry, I'm not going to work on this anymore. So I do have until the end of November, so I have some time. It's currently like September 28th, something like that. So there's some time until I need to pick it back up. And honestly, if I don't pick it up until I need to give it to her, I might just bind off where I'm at and I'll be fine, because I'm close enough. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll finish it in its entirety eventually, but for right now, I can't even bear to look at it. Do you ever have a project like that you just are so sick of and you need to put it down for a little while? Yeah, let me know what those are so I can avoid them. For me, it's the Briochelicious by Andrea Mowry, because no shade to Andrea Mowry, it's just my personal preference of shawls. I don't like crescent shawls. I'm not going to be wearing this, so I'll probably never do this for a friend again. I've learned my lesson. You could probably see this in the shot. I'm just fondling it. I currently have a whip on the needles right now that I'm really, really excited about. So this one I have been knitting on, even though it is still kind of boring in its own way. But it's a little smaller, more manageable project that I can pick up and put down. So this thing I'm flailing around, this is my iris hat from a designer called Sari Nordlund. She has some amazing stuff. She has a lot of things that are published in a lot of different magazines. I know for sure Woolfolk magazine and possibly Pom Pom. Don't quote me on that. Maybe Lane magazine. One of those. Definitely Woolfolk though. But she has her own independent stuff too that I really love. And this is her iris hat. It is for a fingering weight and a mohair held together. And it's really simple, really beautiful. I'm really loving it. I'm knitting it up in this fingering weight and mohair combo that you can see here. And it's crazy. I'll show you guys the separate skeins, but they almost look like they are meant to be together, but they're from different dyers. So I just saw them and I was like, yep, I need to knit these into a hat together. But this kind of adds a bit of warmth and darkness. So it's not so bright, it's a little bit more muted. So I'm really happy about the way it's knitting up. But these skeins are from my friend Rigel. You've heard her mentioned millions of times on this podcast, from Black Market Wool. Again, if you haven't heard, she's no longer dying, so you can't get any of her yarn, I'm sorry. But I do have some skeins in my stash. And then this I got at Stitches West. This was a birthday gift from Jill of Good Witch Knits. And it is a silk mohair from Hugh Loco. So, totally unintentional. I didn't buy them to be together, but I saw them when I got back from Stitches, and I was like, yes, this is what this is going to be. And I've just had that in mind ever since. But I just had to find the right pattern. So the iris hat was totally perfect. It's the first time in a long time that I've knit a top-down hat pattern before. It's kind of wild to do this cast on right here and knit it down. I know the last time I did it was probably like 9 or 10 years ago, and I was a new knitter then, like I'd only been knitting for a year or so. So like the bind off by the brim was hideous, did not look good. So I think that's why I never did it again. But, I'm a bit better at knitting now. The pattern also has you knit super, super long, and then you triple fold it for the brim, so you don't actually see the bind off. But I think what I'll do, because I don't need a mohair triple folded hat in Sacramento. It does not get that cold here. So I'll probably just knit it until it's the length that I like. I'll probably do like a slouchy beanie. And then I'll do a nice tubular bind off, which is my go-to when I want a really nice finished edge. So we'll see. If I hate it, I can always take it out and just do a triple fold. But I'm hoping that ends up looking out okay. So far, this has been my go-to pick up and knit kind of thing. So I really, really love it. And I'll probably end up knitting some more stuff from Sari. I love her things. I love all of her simple, minimal type of designs. She has some beautiful sock patterns that are cabled socks, as well as the Wayne pullover she just released that I'm in love with and I want it so bad, and that's definitely going to be my next sweater. So I'm really excited to hopefully start the Wayne pullover. I've already bought it. I just need some yarn. So, also, just because I'm excited, and I know I don't have a ton of time, like I said, but I do some sample knitting for my local yarn store here in town in Sacramento called Rumpelstiltskin. But I am actually going to start working in the store. If you're a local, please come visit me. I don't have like a firm schedule yet, but so far I've just been working Tuesday nights. But we'll see. That might change. But hopefully you'll get to see me at Rumpelstiltskin. Maybe, possibly. But either way, it's been a really fun time. I've only done one night. What do I know? I've done one night, and I don't have any experience. But I know it's going to be a good time because I really love Rumpelstiltskin. I love the owner. She's really sweet. And, it's going to be a good change. I do still work a full-time job, so I might be killing myself a little. But it'll be nice to mix things up and to interact more with people in the community. So, and to get to know more yarn, basically. So once I've saved up some side money, I'm definitely buying some yarn for a Wayne pullover. So that'll be really fun. That, for now, is all the knitting I have to show you guys. I'm sorry it's really short. This is my 4th attempt. I am really sorry. I don't have much more time in the day. The only other thing I'll talk about and maybe show a little bit of is I have been sewing a little bit lately. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I sewed up the Wiksten Haori jacket. It's an amazing jacket pattern from, like I mentioned, Wiksten. Most of their stuff, if you've ever sewn it, is basically just like fancy rectangles. But the way that they put it together is really smart, especially how versatile it is. They don't have the largest size range, unfortunately. Like, I made the biggest size that they had, and it is a little oversized on me for sure. But it could be bigger, and I know that they're trying to address that, especially with the shift dress. But anyway, so I made the Haori jacket, and I love it. It's really cool. It's a similar color to this. I love this like orangey kind of outerwear because I wear a lot of blues, so it's just a really good complementary color. So let me grab that. This is my Haori jacket. And again, you can see me wearing it on my Instagram. But this is the outside. Beautiful, like, or rusty orange color. I really, really love this. And then this fun, really graphic lining. But it's also reversible. So, excuse me, if I want to wear the orange on the outside one day, or I want to wear the pattern on the outside the other, I can totally do that. So that's kind of fun. I really appreciate that about this pattern. It is a women's jacket pattern, so I did end up lengthening the sleeves by 2 inches, and that totally worked out for me. I just kind of guessed, and I was like, oh, if it's too long, I'll just chop some off, but 2 inches was perfect to add them onto. And I am 5'11", so if you're a guy out there or a really tall woman and you got long arms, just sort of that for reference, kind of. But yeah, I really did enjoy it. It took me an entire Sunday. I don't recommend it. It was like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. But once I have something in my head, I have to do it. So that's what I did one weekend. So I'm excited to do some more sewing. This was really a fun change. So I did end up kind of looking through and finding some other sewing patterns I'd really love to do. Thread theory, if there's any guy sewists out there, or maybe masculine presenting or non-binary, if you're looking for more traditionally masculine patterns, thread theory is really good for some men's patterns there, as well as Merchant and Mills that, again, my friend Jill Goodwitch Knits introduced me to. It's a really cool gender neutral scheme of outfits. Some of them not so much, but for the most part, they're really, really nice. So they do usually show them both as men and women wearing the one garment. So I have a couple patterns from Merchant and Mills that I've bought, and then there's a couple I have my eye on from Thread Theory. So hopefully you'll see some more sewing from me in the future, and I'll actually be true to my intro as a knitter and sewist. So yeah, I have to go. Hopefully this recorded. I really hope so. Otherwise, you're not seeing this and you wouldn't know the difference. But either way, I will come back hopefully next weekend. Next weekend is Lambtown, which is really exciting here in Sacramento, more so Dixon, but if you're local, please go to Lambtown. Maybe you'll see me there. But either way, I'll try and sneak in some recording next weekend and see you guys then. And hopefully I also see you this weekend. But have a good day, and I'll see you then. Bye!